Hey everybody, welcome. I'm Scott Messick and welcome to Cerebral Selects. I'm here with Mr. Cerebral himself, Joey Kravchak. How you doing, Joey?
Can't complain. I'm excited for another beautiful week of NFL football.
Tell me about your process, right? Tell me what the Cerebral Index is, because I know that's an important part of this.
Every week we learn more things about teams, and they all roll over, and teams are intersecting every week. So team playing week 2 might not be the same team week 16, and so on. What we get week to week is a score projection for every game, and we see how it measures up against the betting market, and when there's discrepancies, then we bet it.
Simple question, Joey. Do you enjoy doing this?
Oh yeah, I enjoy it. I
Why?
live for football season. The rest of the year is just waiting around for NFL season.
All right, so let's get started. Our first game up here with a Cerebral Index of 98. We have Miami giving 11, a lot of points, to the Giants. Let's talk about that game.
The Giants, they're coming off a somewhat short week. They played Monday night. I wouldn't even say that even factors in because this is just a JV versus a varsity kind of game. If I was a bookmaker, I would be very comfortable setting the line at like 17 and a half because the Dolphins are just not really stoppable unless they're playing someone like Buffalo like last week. And the Giants are very far from being Buffalo, so the Dolphins are going to score 35, 38, 40 almost without even trying. The Giants, they can put together a few good drives if they're lucky, but I have the Dolphins winning this one by 3 touchdowns. This is just a mismatch. The Giants secondary has no chance covering their receivers, and the Dolphins run game is just also really good. So the Giants haven't accomplished anything on defense this year, so there's no reason to believe it'll start this week against the Dolphins.
Is Miami just that unstoppable that they're going to just crank 40?
I think so. Obviously, there's the chance for mishaps. They could get penalties in the red zone, settle for field goals. The Giants, they have a 10% chance to win. 10% is not zero, but I think the Dolphins, more than half the time, they're going to win by more than 11 for sure.
So moving on to a game, team with a lot of hubbub around them is the New York Jets. They're playing at Denver. It's a 97 on the Cerebral Index, pretty high. And the bet is those two teams, the Jets and Denver, over 43. Talk about that a little bit.
The Broncos' defense has just been a complete disaster, complete and utter disaster. And while the Jets don't have the best offense ever, they are really improving their pass game. The last 2 weeks has been a major step up for them. Zach Wilson looks really comfortable in there. He's been playing well. So given the struggles of the Denver defense, pretty much assumed right now until further notice that all of their opponents are just going to light them up. Last week, Justin Fields was the leading passer in the league facing the Broncos defense with 350 passing yards. Zach Wilson and the Jets, they're going to get points. And the Broncos, their offense is much improved. And the Jets defense, they haven't been that great. They're towards the bottom as far as total yards given up, 6th or 7th from the bottom. So both teams will be able to score in this game. Last year, this was like the opposite. Now it's flipped.
So our third game has a 96 Cerebral Index. This is an intra-division game, rivalry for sure. Baltimore at Pittsburgh. They're going to beat each other up, and you're betting under 38.5. Talk about that a little bit.
Everyone's kind of seen the Steelers have really struggled this year on offense. They've been out-yarded in every single game. They can't get anything going. Their offensive line this week is missing a few starters, and they were already not playing great, so the Steelers are not poised to score very much. On the other end, Baltimore, their offense is a lot better than the Steelers, but the Steelers play them really well every year. Lamar Jackson's only beaten them once in his career. I think he's 1-5. This is just always an ugly game, and there's no evidence that much has changed. I think it's going to be a really ugly game, 16-13.
All right, moving on. We got the Packers at Las Vegas, under 45. Let's talk about that one a little bit.
Yeah, that 45 number is just so high. I mean, I don't know where it came from, but these offenses have been really low octane this year. They're both towards the bottom as far as yards per game. They're not passing it deep down the field. I guess the Raiders do a little bit with Devontae Adams, but other than that, they haven't been moving the ball much. And the Packers especially, they're just a mess. They were supposed to have a really good rush attack, and they're third to last in rushing yards through 4 weeks. This is just going to be a game of punts and field goals the way I see it. Each team should get a touchdown drive or two, but at 45, I mean, I just don't see it. I think it'll be a 20-17 kind of game, so there should be a lot of wiggle room for the under on 45.
Next up, with a 95 cerebral index, Houston getting 2 at Atlanta.
For sure. So Houston has just been the surprise of the year, and I don't think that the market is correctly adjusting to just how good they are. They have had all the offensive line injuries, and somehow, like, their backups are just playing well. Stroud is a really good player as a rookie already. He's got it. They've put up 30 points back-to-back weeks, so this is not the team I envisioned this year. So the Falcons are favored for a reason. I get it. They can run the ball. The Texans' defensive line hasn't been that great, but you know, when you have a team like the Falcons that are a one-trick pony, it's kind of easy to stop them, because if the Texans just sell out on stopping the run, you know, the Falcons have no pass game to be found. So this should be a good game. I like the Texans to win outright. So with the 2 points, it's an easy bet.
All right, so Joey, next up, our 6th pick in the Cerebral 7 is the Jets getting 2 at Denver. All right. Now, we talked a little bit about the Jets in Denver earlier and about the over. It seems like the Jets keep turning up in your, it's 3 weeks in a row the Jets are turning up, at least in the games that you're picking.
Yeah, there's a handful of teams this year where I've been on the right side of their spread every week, and the Jets are one of them. Tennessee is a lot harder to predict than, Baltimore or the Jets, so yeah, I like the Jets to win this game outright. They've really showed some growth the first month of the year, and I think they have a really coherent team right now. And Broncos are a little bit more erratic. Given the Broncos' defensive struggles, the Jets should score pretty easily on them, and scoring is good. So I like the Jets to win outright.
Where do you see the score falling?
Yeah, I have my score projection as Jets 26, Broncos 21. So the over is pretty comfortable there.
Okay, and our 7th pick in the Cerebral 7 is something that we had to pick early. So you and I just watched this game on Thursday night, and fairly ugly for us. You had Washington giving 6 to Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, in this league, any team, any day. So the Commanders, their defense hadn't been horrible the first month. I mean, they hadn't been outstanding, but I didn't think they would completely break down, which is what happened in the first half. A weak offensive line, and the Bears, they just dominated them. So that was really just the Commanders breaking down on defense. Why I was so confident in the Commanders was just because of what they showed me on offense and how good Sam Howell has looked. And that was definitely reaffirmed this week, because in the second half, Sam Howell was breaking out of sacks and turning them into positive gains and throwing dimes, and he's a really good quarterback. So I'm still pretty high on the Commanders. As soon as I saw that Dick Butkus passed away on game day, that's when I should have known that something was going to happen that would allow the Bears to win. And sure enough, I mean, they played their best game in literally a year, because they had not won a game in a year. Can't win them all, so good for the Bears.
Hey, look, we got a shot at being 6-1 this week, right?
Still a chance.
Yeah, that's where we're headed. We always give our subscribers one other treat, the stay away game. What's our stay away game for this week?
So yeah, this week the stay away is going to be the Bengals traveling to Arizona, where they are 3-point favorites. This one is definitely not a game I have any interest in betting. I could see the Bengals winning by a lot. I could see the Cardinals winning by a lot. If and when the Bengals get it together is to be determined. That could be this week. The Cardinals don't have that great of a team. Their defense is not that good, so even though they've had some moments the first few weeks, so I could see the Bengals bouncing back this week, but in general, it's not my strategy to bet against what I'm seeing, and what I'm seeing from the Bengals is not very good, so if they win this week, good for them, but I won't be betting on it because it's just too uncertain.
There you have it, the Cerebral 7 for Week 5. Joey, how you feeling about this 7?
Always feeling good about the 7. Hopefully we can go 6-1, and good luck to everyone making bets.
All right, I'm Scott Messick. Thank you to all the subscribers who are watching. Joey, thank you very much for letting me co-host, and have a good night.
You too. Thanks for coming on.